In a Where Are They Now moment, remember actor Andrew McCarthy, the heartthrob and member of the 80s Brat Pack who starred in all those classic hit movies of teenage angst, like Pretty in Pink, St. Elmo's Fire, Weekend at Bernie's? Well, fast forward 30 years, and Andrew is still acting and directing, but he's also fallen in love with the idea of traveling and writing about it. He's joining us now to talk about his very first novel. You've been a busy man, haven't you?
Well, you got to do something.
Yeah, well, and I think it's so interesting that lightning has struck several times in your career, first as an actor, then as a director, and
yeah,
now
I direct as
a travel writer.
A lot of television. In my other life, yeah, I've been a travel writer for about the last 15 years or so. So that's been a great thing. Travel changed my life, and I just started writing about it for magazines and whatnot, and then I wrote a travel memoir, and yeah.
Which was a bestseller.
It was. That was very nice, yeah. And then it led to this novel here, which was a total surprise to me. I wasn't anticipating that.
So you just had this germ of an idea.
I did. I had this idea about a man who had I was interested in the story about marriage and secrecy. And it was a story about a man who had a one-night affair and had this child that he kept a secret from his family for all these years. And I worked on it for like 7, 8 years, and I could never crack it. But my favorite character was always their 15-year-old daughter, so one day I just changed the whole perspective and started writing from the 15-year-old girl's point of view, that like, my dad has this kid we didn't know about, what's going on? And so it turns her whole world upside down, and it became this young adult novel.
Nice, nice. Well, I've just read the beginning of it, and I love it already. A little older than young adult, but I think this probably will resonate with a lot of people.
Well, it's interesting. Young adult novels, the majority of readers of it are adults, so I thought that was interesting, because I think it harkens back to sort of like all the movies that you were introducing there. You know, that moment in our life when we're just sort of cusping and coming into our own, taking our own space. And people have a great affection and hold that part of their journey very close, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
That's why they still talk about, you know, Pretty in Pink 30 years later, because it resonates with them in their own moment, you know, when they were coming in.
Yeah, definitely. How much contact do you have with your other Brat Pack co-stars?
I talked to him, and I just tweeted with John Cryer last week. I got an email from Molly, you know, so we're all around.
Yeah, it's neat to see the way everyone's career has evolved.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting, you know, people, for a group of people that were sort of doing this thing 30-odd years ago, most of them had interesting and varied long careers. So it's, you know, that's an interesting process. Yeah,
tell me about your directing. I mean, drop some names. You've directed some really well-known shows.
I direct a lot of that show, Orange is the New Black, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's a bit like herding cats, but it's crazy.
Probably.
And it's fun. I do a lot of the show The Blacklist and some Grace and Frankie and just various shows. Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Nice. You're based in New York.
I do. I live in New York, yeah.
But do you spend a lot of time on the West Coast?
I try not to, because my family, I have 3 kids, so I try and stay at home as much as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What attracted you to travel?
Well, travel changed my life in a very real way. I sort of came into myself when I was on the road. Travel, I've said, is sort of the university of my life. I think I walked through a lot of my fear in the world by traveling, and then it evolved and I started to write about it. Because I think travel is a really valuable use of time. It's not just something frivolous that we go on these vacations. I think real travel, just going and getting out of your comfort zone and leaving the country particularly, is a really important thing. I think if Americans traveled more, the world would be a different place. Mark Twain had that great line, travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and I think that's very true. Yeah. So anyway, I'm a great believer in travel, and so it just became an accidental second career.
Yeah, with National Geographic.
Yeah, I'm an editor-at-large over there, yes.
What an amazing life you've had so far. And there's still more to come.
Well, let's hope.
Do you see yourself writing another novel?
Yeah, I mean, I have another idea for a young adult novel that I've started working on. There's something about the YA genre that I really like, because it's very emotionally direct. You know, it's like that stage in life when you're feeling, I'm all alone in the world, nobody understands this but me, nobody's felt this but me, and only I can do anything about it, and what's wrong with everybody else, and why aren't I appreciated enough? You know, that feeling that every teenager has. And that moment also when you realize that your parents are off actually living their own life, and it's not just about you. Yeah. And I think it's a startling revelation for people when they sort of actually come to that knowing of that moment when their parents are having a separate existence. I think it's terrifying and upsetting and, of course, liberating, but it's a complicated time in life. And I think when writing about the emotions of that, it's very direct and very accessible, which is why I think a lot of adults like it too. It also reminds them of their youth, and you can relive it in a different way than when you were actually going through the angst, you know? Yeah.
Gosh, what a pleasure to talk to you. Thanks for the great entertainment you've given us through the years in front of the camera, behind the camera, and now with this novel. I think you're going to want to check this out. It's really neat. The book is called Just Fly Away. It's available wherever books are sold. Thanks so much.
Thank you.